Cool, right everyone, welcome back. So we're out again fishing tonight. Bit of a spontaneous one. First and foremost, actually, apologies if the audio ain't that great. We're quite close to the breakers right now, and they are pretty aggressive. So if you can't hear me too well, I'm sorry, but hopefully it'll get a bit better as the night goes on. But yeah, bit of a spontaneous one tonight. Me and Owen just sort of spoke briefly throughout the day. We were going to go flounder fishing at the weekend, but I can't go. And we both forgot it was Valentine's Day on the day we planned to go, so amateur move there, wasn't it? So we thought, oh, we'll just come out tonight on a bit of a spontaneous one. Never know, it could turn out to be a great choice, but we've got some ragworm. We've got a little bit of squid and a little bit of cuttle. We've just come down Tottenham Bay. We're right by the pier, just to the right of the pier. So we're tucked out the wind and tucked out the rain. And we have both got our shelters, so it's not the end of the world. We can deal with a little bit of rain, no problem. But we're fishing into a little bit of a rough sea at the minute. Quite a nice little bit of a swell there. Are they them worms, are they? Oh, they look good. Yeah, they do look good. But yeah, the reason we've come tonight is because one of the guys that digs some worms, that Owen knows, has said he had a $5's worth of worm. Well, he only wanted a $5 for it, sorry. He'd taken it out today, dug it, and he's given us, he said we can have it for a $5 sort of thing, because we've been getting a bit of worm off him here and there. And yeah, he said we can have this for a $5 a worm, basically. And Owen said there's probably between half and 3/4 of a pound there, so we thought, you know what? February, late winter, early spring, go down Tottenham and try for a place. So we thought we'd come tuck down here. We are fishing onto sand, and just to the right of a bit of structure, that being Tottenham Pier, so you never know what could happen. You can get all your species of ray you can get here. I know people that have caught plaice here. It can be a really good muck for sole on a good day. My dad's caught quite a few small turbot down here. I've never caught a turbot or a plaice from the beach, so any of them I'll be well happy with. I've never caught a thornback. It's winter time, small chance of a thornback. I know they get them round in Bramble's Corner, which is only just round in the next bay behind me, and it's very similar ground there, so no reason why they wouldn't come here either. So yeah, a few little targets. It is obviously February, so if we do catch a bass, can't do anything with it. So yeah, I'll give you a little walk through the baits I've got. Right, so in here is the worm. Nothing wrong with that worm whatsoever. Beautiful and lively that is. So nothing wrong with that. I've got half of it, Owen's got the other half over there. So that'll be getting thrown out on some flatty rigs. In here I've got 2 cuttlefish that you can't really see. 2 cuttlefish there on the right, and then that bit on the left is a bag of squids. And then I have got, if I can just break it off here to show you, that's half a tube of the last squid that I caught in the autumn. So got some local squid, some squid from God knows where, probably the Indian Ocean or something, a couple of cuttlefish. And that'll do it, because we're not having a big session. We're not going to be fishing big baits. Probably just going to fish a flapper and a bagnall bar, and that'll be it. Bagnall bar will only have a sliver of squid on it, just so I can catch anything on it. And I might mix it up, put a bit of a bigger bait out later for a bass up next to the pier, but I might just stick to it, keep it simple on a bar or a flapper, because I'll catch them on a bar and a flapper anyway, and then I can also catch any of the smaller species that might be coming. So we'll see how we go. We'll fill the night out, but that's what I've got. I'll get my rigs tied on, I'll give you a talk through the rigs that I'm going to use. Right, so I'll talk you through this first rig. This first rig is very, very simple. As you can see, the actual rig body from the weight to swivel is good 4 foot, I would say. I've got 2 very big, well not very big, very long hook lengths down here. I've got orange and green beads, and then multicoloured swivels, so I've got silvers, reds and golds in there. 4 ounce gripper. The reason I've got such long hook lengths is because I just want natural bait presentation on the bottom, and I feel like the longer the hook length, the slower the motion. Now there is a small bit of swell under shore here. Out to sea it's not a lot really, it's a very, very small ground swell. So, and the tide, I haven't mentioned it yet, is the smallest tide I think I've ever fished round here. It's the smallest tide I've fished for a long time, point blank, but round here it might be the smallest ever. It's a 3.6 tonight, which is about as small as they get. You might only ever see a 3.5 and maybe a 3.4 Don't know if I've ever seen a 3.4, but a 3.5 is about as small as you'll get really. So there's not going to be hardly any tidal range movement wise. So we're going to be fishing into relatively the same depth of water all night. The tide started ebbing about 2 hours ago, so 3 to 4 hours left of ebb, and then maybe the first of the flood if it turns early, and depending on how the fishing is obviously. But yeah, back to the rig. Long hook lengths, just for natural bait presentation. All I've done is I've just threaded a worm up 1.5 inches maybe, and then just let the tails dangle. That's because we are targeting Solent place with these rigs, and I just want the place to come from behind, bite the worm, eat its way up and then hook itself. Whereas if I was to slide this worm up a couple inches up the line, if it starts eating it from the wrong end, it's going to give me false bites, and there's a lot less it's a lot less likely that it's going to hook itself basically. So that's that rig. I'm going to toss this one out. This rod here is an Achios Air, what is it? I'd only bought it the other day. This is the second time using it. It is an Achios Air. It's an Achios Air Light 355 bass rod, 11'6", 2 to 4 ounce casting, and I've got a Pen Mag 4 on it. Main line on it is 25 pound Asso hard skin. So I'll put this out. Right, so I'll just give you a little bit of a brief explanation about how the Bagnall bar works. So I did probably explain this in one of my videos the other day, because I had a session the other day where I used one of these. It'll be getting uploaded soon, so by the time this comes out, it'll probably be already up. So the way this works is, I'll try and get my body in the way so you can see. You've got a 20 centimetre bar down there, main line ties on at the top. You've got a sort of a fixed hook length here, so you've got 5 inches from this swivel down to your bottom hook. The bottom hook is clipped into the imp, up to this top swivel here. This cascade is locked into this other little swivel here on the side. Now that tension is dictated by this little bead and this spring. So if the spring's too tight or too loose, you can move the bead up or down to sort of account for that. What will happen is you'll cast this out, it'll all be locked in behind this lovely little bar here, and it'll be following the lead behind in the air. It'll hit the water, this imp will flick up, this hook length will come out, it'll pop this cascade out of this swivel here, and then you've got a massive long hook length that is all anchored at the bottom of this weight here. So it's going to fish very free flowing, nice big long natural movement in the water. And the best thing about it is when you're casting, you don't lose any of that tension or momentum in your cast. When you're using mono traces, the trace will stretch and you'll lose a little bit of power. And where it's on a bar, it flies so straight, there's no flex on it at all. It flies dead straight and just behind this weight, and it just punches out so far. So if you want to use a distance rig where you can use a big hook length at the same time, this is definitely the rig to go for. I absolutely love this rig. You can have this hook length here as long as you want. You can put it 10 foot if you want. But the only thing I will say is you don't want to use them in rocky ground, and you want to use them in a place where there's at least a little bit of tide. Because if there's not, and you've got a 6, 7, 8 foot hook length, it's all just going to end up on one big pile on your grip. Whereas when your grip locks in and you've got a bit of tide, this hook length will go down tide and it will spread out. If there isn't that, then it'll just sit all on top of it, and if there's a bit of motion, you'll just end up with a big ball of line, and your hook length will be completely caught up on it. So yeah, a little bit of a brief explanation about a Bagnall bar. If I've confused you, the other video I'll probably have a bit of a better one, but this rod here is a Leader Icon Bass Sport, 11'6", same as the other one, 2 to 4 ounce, same as the other one. The only difference is I've got a Pen Mag 2 on here instead of a Pen Mag 4, and I've got the same Asso 25 pound hard skin mainline. Just fishing my bass rods tonight because I had them all out because we did an estuary session a few days ago, so I couldn't be asked to get my beach caster out and change my reels over, so bass rod night tonight. I'm just going to punch this out as far as I can and see where we go. Yeah, it's pretty comfy here, isn't it?
It is, it's nice.
There we are, that's on the worm, that is.
That's a nice little one, that.
I thought I had a bite on the squid a second ago. There we have it, a tiny little dog. I had a tiny little tappy bite on it a minute ago, and I thought to myself, that looks like a bite, but it's quite hard to tell in this swell. And it turns out the main star of the show was sat right on there, that little doggy. Not bad, I'll take that all day on a night like tonight. Right, so I've gone for a little bit of a tactic change here, just because me and Owen have both had casts where the bagnall bars are tangled up due to the fact there's not a lot of tide out there. Like I said earlier, it is only a 3.5 metres, so that is, as I said, one of the smallest tides you can really get around here. So I've got on for a 3-hook flapper, and they are all 3 up, none of them are down. Squid on a size 1.0 at the bottom, and then 2 bits of worm on the top with size, no, that's a 1.0 on the bottom, and these are size 2s on the top. So 3-hook flapper. I can fish a bit of squid out there still for a ray on a reasonable size hook. A 1.0 will catch anything. And then I've got a couple of small hooks there for a sole or a place or whatever, just down towards the top. So I'll put this one out. I've been accidentally casting them right on top of each other, so I'm going to try and get this one as close to the pier as I can, and then this one out there. I'm just going to try and drop a bit more out to the right, because like then I just reeled over my other one by accident because I've accidentally cast over it. But it's a bit awkward casting where I am. I've got a building next to me. I set up so that I'd be out of the rain and more comfortable, but actually it wasn't really the most practical when it comes to casting out bloody 11-foot rods. That's actually a bit of a better bite. This is a fish on here. Feels a bit of weight there. Just gonna keep it coming in. Ha! Double shot. Double shot puppies. One of them on worm, one of them on squid. Right, so just brought that one in. One tiny dog and one pretty decent sized dog actually. This middle one on the worm, bottom one on the chunk of squid I had on the bottom. Hopefully that's not what's on the other rod as well. Otherwise, my hopes of it being a place or a dab or a sole is completely out of the window. I would assume they're dogs, but one little dog unhooked. These are baby ears. God, that's actually not, as dogfish go, it's actually not a bad size one. It's probably 1.5 pounds. So yeah, that'll do. Pardon?
Seems like it's on there.
You'd think so. Tiny bit of weight. I can see it wherever it is. Yeah. What's that on the bottom? Oh, just a bit of weed. Right, so we've established what those little knocks are. Honestly, nothing like any little dogfish bites I've had before. They're biting proper, just like what little flatties bite like, really. I've not caught loads of little flatties, but the ones that I have caught are a bit exactly like these are biting tonight, which is just funny, ain't it? It's similar to whenever I go cod fishing. Every single bite I get, it's like, oh, that could be a cod. And you convince yourself it's a cod before you've even struck into it. So whenever you're sole fishing like this, or whenever you're place fishing or anything like that, you think you've got what you targeted straight away. Just you convince yourself, don't you? But unfortunately, another one of these. But at least we're not blanking. We're getting a few fish to the beach, which is decent. 4 dogs now, I think, which honestly ain't that bad for February. Yeah, we'll keep poking through these, and hopefully we can get a sole or something else amongst it. Anything other than a dog, I think, will be an achievement when these lot are about. Yeah, a few fish starting to show now. I've had a good few dogs. I've had a few bites that I missed. Owen's just had a pout as well, so that's all good signs. Coming towards, I would say, maybe last hour of ebb tide. So we'll fish the last hour of the ebb, maybe fish the first of the flood, just to see if it brings anything. But we've got loads of worm left. All of this worm mateys give us for a fiver as well. Loads. And it's proper lively as well. So nice worm baits keep going out. Owen's fishing a load of worm baits, I'm fishing a load of worm baits. Right on that left rod there. Bit of a better rattle that one was. A little bit of weight on this one. On the squid, all of my worm gone, look. Something's hammering worm out there. There's the one that was giving us that bouncy thing. This is a fat dog. But yeah, this was giving me a little bouncy bite for a little while, but I just let this one go a little bit because, oh, don't do that, mate. There we go. I just let this one develop a little bit just because the last couple have sort of, I picked up and I have ended up missing the fish, so thought this one I'm not going to do the same mistake, just let it hook itself. God, he was really scratching me up like that. Yeah, actually a pretty chunky dog that one, a big old belly on him, but we're into the fish. It's not a bad winter session really. Look at that for a pout. Right, so I don't actually think this is a pout. I think it might be a poor cod, but who really knows how to tell the difference between that, let's be honest. We've got one tiny little pout slash poor cod. It is a poor cod, to be honest with you. Just there's no barbie bit on the bottom, but yeah, tiny little one of them. We've got another absolute tank of a dog. Don't know how many I've had now. Must be nearly on double figures, I'd have thought. And a lovely little pout or a poor cod. I think it was a poor cod, but it's dead hard to tell the difference, ain't it? But yeah, another little dog. Right, this one on the left been going for probably at least 5 minutes now. So I'm going to assume whatever it is on there. Not been a very big bite, but it doesn't even feel like there's anything on it. Another little pout. We've progressed from dogfish, we've gone on to pout now. I'll take that, to be honest with you. A little bit of a better one, rather than the last one anyway. Yeah, you can see in this a bit of a better one. This is actually, I knew that was going to happen. That's why I wanted him to open his bloody mouth so he could get his mouth. There we are. Got a bit of a tiny little pout in. But it's better than nothing. I'd rather actually catch these than dogs, to tell you the truth. Lovely little one, we'll get him back. Oh, right, so come to the end of the session now. Just going to let these casts soak for 5 more minutes and I'm going to reel them in, but it's been a great session tonight. especially for the fact that it's sort of the second week of February and it's very easy to go out and not catch anything. So to be honest, to go out and have bites like I have done, I don't know how on earth Owen's not caught a dogfish tonight when I've had 8, 10, maybe more than that. I've lost count, to be honest with you. I know I've had a couple of double shots and a fair few on their own, so I've got to be around the double figure mark. I had a couple of small pout or pork cod, one of them might have been. So yeah, I mean, pretty good session really. I'm more than happy with that. No strap eels again. I dodged them last time and I've dodged them tonight, unless I get one on this cast, that is. But yeah, it's been great fun really. So yeah, obviously not the best fish in the world, pout and dogs, but this time of year you can't really be too much of a picky bugger, can you? So you take what you can get really. But yeah, my dad went out the other night and blanked, so it happens. So yeah, I mean, not the most action-packed video, no crazy fish or mental bites, but it's consistent fishing and it's winter fishing, ain't it? So you just got to deal with what you can. So hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, drop us a like. And if you're new around here and you like what you're seeing, drop a sub. And yeah, I can promise you that the videos aren't going to be this boring for the rest of the year. There will be some better fish coming around over the next few months, so we'll be out after them, targeting them for sure. So yeah, thanks for the view, appreciate you, and catch you in the next one. Thank you.